Good evening, folks. Attention. I strongly recommend that the MTA produce the final draft of both the Brooklyn and Queens redesigns together at the same time, simultaneously. The main reason, firstly, is so that we can connect the Eastern Queens routes with Brooklyn routes, because currently they just end at the subway, which doesn't serve everybody that well. The Eastern Queens routes, if they terminated either in Brooklyn, or they terminated in Long Island City, Ridgewood, or at Ozone Park, there'll be some sort of a connectivity with Brooklyn routes. And also, to add on to that, if certain Brooklyn routes, like say the B12 extends to Ozone Park, the B52 extend to Ozone Park, and the B54 extend to Forest Hills, as well as maybe the B69 extend to Woodside, say Northern Boulevard, Broadway, there's more interconnectivity between the two boroughs. Aside from the express bus network, which pretty much focuses on commutes into the central business district of Manhattan, as far as the Brooklyn route perspective is concerned, there could be a use for more SBS routes or red routes. Like, for example, the B60 should become a red route from Canarsie to Williamsburg, while the B66 and 76 are diverted over to Broadway Junction so that those customers connect with the LIRR. Also, with Eastern Queens routes going to either Brooklyn or either Long Island City, Ridgewood, or Ozone Park, then you'll have more connectivity with Brooklyn routes. Plus, there's the potential of the Brooklyn redesign implementing more routes, like say, so that customers in Eastern Queens can only take 2 buses from their area to areas like Coney Island. They should not have to take 4 buses like they do currently, as the way the current Brooklyn and Queens redesigns have proposed. There should be a way where they can implement just one transfer from an Eastern Queens route to a route that'll take you directly to Coney Island, as well as to maybe Bay Ridge. Because in actuality, you should be able to go from Staten Island Mall to Eastern Queens on just 3 buses. It shouldn't require you a multiple load of transfers, or using the ferry or express bus into Manhattan. Yes, I know this intro is on TikTok, but as we explain later in the video, I'll show you details how it should go down. As far as the Queens bus network redesign goes, and we look at it as far as like trying to make the route, not so much make the routes long, but make the routes useful for interborough connection. As we want Eastern Queens routes, like say for example, the Q83, the proposed 57, the Q46, the proposed Q48, things like that. The Q88. We want routes like, it's already proposed, but it's the 51, as you see. And routes like on the south end, like along the conduit, we want those routes to terminate either like in a Long Island City, or Ridgewood, or Ozone Park, or inside the borough of Brooklyn. And also, we want to fix up the routes within Queens so that we can reduce the number of transfers. Like, for example, from Southeast Queens, like say the Laurelton, Rosedale area, going to LaGuardia Airport should only be 1 transfer, 2 buses. You should not have to take 3 buses, or a bus, subway, and then a bus. It should not require 3 buses. South Ozone Park, like, we should try to combine, like, say, the Q9 with the proposed 75. Make it 1 route from South Ozone Park to Oakland Gardens, Queensboro Community College. Routes like the Q40 should be merged into the proposed 65 going to Flushing, while the 65 should follow the old proposal. Things like that. There's other things that should be considered, like say the proposed Q5 along Merrick Boulevard. That should be, and the Q4, that should be extended to Forest Hills. There should be like the line, like the Q36, the current Q36. They have it as Q82, but well, we gonna look at it as like the current Q36, which will begin in Floral Park. We should have the current route extended northwest along Queens Boulevard, so that it would terminate, say, around either Elmhurst or Jackson Heights or Woodside, somewhere in that area. As a purple route, yeah, because it's like purple route is kind of like one of the 3 expresses for the local route division. You know, there's the red routes, which like the Q25 is a red route, but it's going to act as a local on Merrick Boulevard. That route should be extended to Green Acres Mall. But like the purple routes, they need to be a bit more frequent. They should be included in the frequent transit network with the blue and the red. And because the headway should be like 10 minutes or better throughout the day. And it should be more than just rushing people to the subway. It should also act as the way it is, as an express like service on the local network. You know, I will have the proposed that new Q36 terminate like that. I will also, and like the 46s, like when they branch the 40, made the 40 Glen Oaks branch 48. I'll make the Glen Oaks branch one all day, at all times. Extend that to Ridgewood Terminal, while the 46, okay, is going to extend on the east end to North Shore Hospital. I'll let the 45. I'll change the 45 route so it could be like the old QT34 proposal going to North Shore Hospital as well. But the 46, I'll have it go to North Shore Hospital, begin, and then extend with the 40. Extend through Forest Hills along the proposed 73 route as its rush route to Metropolitan, then follow Metropolitan to Woodhaven, and then south from Woodhaven to Ozone Park, because any route that borders Nassau should not go to the Brooklyn border. It should end like no further than Ozone Park. This way we can achieve more Brooklyn connection. You know, and you know, and the Merrick Boulevard corridor will probably have a lot more routes, because like say the route like the Q24 and the 56. Okay, I'm gonna have those extended east. The 24, because they duplicate each other. I will send the 24 down Merrick Boulevard. I mean, even though I was like I would suggest the Q24 act as a local on Merrick Boulevard with the 25, but terminate in Laurel to where the short run Q5s terminate, 233rd and Merrick. I'll let the 24 terminate there. The 56, I'll send that to USB Arena, because I would want to start a new route. Okay, and it's like the Q1, how they have the Q1, but it'll be like a new 86 route from USB Arena. It'll go like the 82 proposed, but it'll go up on Hillside, and then we'll merge into the Q1 as a purple route into the airport, because I will probably have the Q20 extended along Suffolk Boulevard, terminating at Rockaway Boulevard. And then like that Q1 proposed, I will have that combined with the 8, but it's like the 8 will terminate in Oakland Gardens, and the 1 will be a green route terminating in like Howard Beach. It'll act like a 41. The 84 might be taken out of Jamaica because of this. You know, this way you can have the bus go across on Baisley Boulevard. 84 might just go across Baisley Boulevard to Rockaway, and then as a rush route to Ozone Park before joining the Q83, the extended Q83, because that will be acting as a rush route to the 57 on Liberty. It'll join the 83, replacing the proposed 109 and into Brooklyn, but extend further to where the Brooklyn General Mail Facility, so they connect with Brooklyn routes. And with the Brooklyn redesign, I will have the B52 extended to Ozone Park via Myrtle and Woodhaven, and the B54 extended to Forest Hills via Myrtle, Cooper, and Yellowstone. That will be like the purple route of the extended purple route of the Q48. You know, the extended purple route of the Q46 will follow the local Q73 route, like as an express variant up to Metropolitan. Okay, the main reason so it could be interconnectivity for the local But now, here's another added feature. As we look here in the Crown Heights section, okay, what I would do, I would start a new red route, whether it's labeled B56 or Q58 or whatever. It'll run up Utica and Malcolm X Boulevard and then Broadway. Then it will join the B57 along Flushing Avenue, going into Queens. From there, okay, that route is going to extend as far as downtown Flushing. It might travel Corona Avenue and then Roosevelt Avenue, like the proposed Q58 does currently. Because, and the main reason so that there's connectivity, so that we can reduce the number of transfers between Crown Heights and, say, either LaGuardia Airport, College Point, Bayside, as well as Little Neck and Great Neck. You know, we want to improve the connectivity that way. All right, so we'll create routes like that. Also, because of the extended Eastern Queens route, we want a route from the Coney Island Hospital area, which is right around here, over here to this area like Spring Creek, where it will connect with a bus route to Eastern Queens, be it the Q83, Q84, whatever. There'll be probably a new route going to Eastern Queens. I mean, going SBS route like Q81, which will go to Rosedale, replacing much of the Q85 east of Springfield Boulevard. Because all you got to do is take Rockaway to the Conduit, and that's it. You know, terminate at Rosedale Station. Because, like I didn't mention for I will have a Queens route to Green Acres beginning in Ozone Park, which will support the B12 extension, which is a green route local. The B12 restoration of Cypress Hills and extension into Ozone Park. Also, I'll probably have a new SBS route beginning at Gateway Mall, just like how they had the B5. It'll run through Starrett City like the 83, but it'll run with the 83, but it'll be a blue route. And then it'll follow 82 route because it goes to the L train and everything. But that's a route. That's not so much a route to Coney Island. That's probably be a route to, say, maybe around Borough Park, or either Borough Park, Gravesend, or Bay Ridge. You know, this way we reduce the number of transfers required to Eastern Queens. There should be two routes. There should be a Bay Ridge to Gateway Mall and a Bay Ridge to maybe, say, Spring Creek Postal Facility route. You know, as to reduce the number of transfers. So mainly for Eastern Queens connectivity. You know, that's what we'll do. Plus, as far as the Rockaways is concerned, I'm glad they implemented a B41 Select, and I'm glad they implemented a B81 Local. But let me tell you, Q35, I will scrap the 35 in favor of extending the B41 Select to Rockaway Park and the B81 Local to Rockaway Park. And I will also restore the B2. Restore the B2, which will begin over at Kings Highway Station. Restore it like the King, but extend it to Rockaway Park as well. So you'll have three routes going that way, and then plus the Q22 from Roxbury, and then I will extend it east into Green Acres. There's a main reason for that, you know. And also with that Ozone Park route to Green Acres, that's probably going to take over the 11 or something like that. And I'll have it go through Rochdale. So as to the folks in Rochdale, you will not lose out on your direct service to Green Acres. Plus, you will gain service to the A train and direct service to Brooklyn Brown routes. You know, that's the purpose. Folks, I must say, the Bronx bus local redesign is incomplete. And the reason Queens is proving it. Yes, the Q44 Select bus is being extended to Fordham Plaza, but we're not satisfied with the Q50 terminating at Pelham Bay Park. We need that route going to Co-op City at all times as a Select bus route. So the Bronx has to get a new redesign, just for the Queens purpose. I'm gonna say like the BX29 should be restored into Co-op City, replacing the BX23 as BX23 local, while a Q50 goes select bus throughout Co-op City. The 29 can take over as the loop and then extend out to City Island, while the Q50 is from LaGuardia Airport to Co-op City. That's how we need it on that end. Then we'll need another route, say for out of Queens, because there's a proposed Springfield Boulevard crosstown called Q78. I will propose a new red route. I originally posted it as an SBS, but I'll say no, make it a red route labeled Q79 to distinguish from 78. It'll begin at Merrick Boulevard instead of at Rockaway Boulevard at the entrance of the JFK Airport. It'll begin at Merrick Boulevard so it connects. So its purpose is to connect with all the nice bus routes going into Nassau. Is along the Springfield corridor, and then Springfield Boulevard and Bell Boulevard corridor. Once you hit like the Bay Terrace area, then it's going to turn west so it can go into the Clearview Expressway and cross the Throgs Neck Bridge, and then goes west to the Cross Bronx Expressway before exiting at Tremont, and take its way to go up Tremont Avenue. It's to take Tremont Avenue or find its way to Tremont Avenue. Take Tremont Avenue up to Westchester Square where it will terminate. The main reason so you could connect with bus routes BX8, which is along Williamsbridge Road, and BX31, which is along Eastchester Road. We want connectivity to those routes. It also connect with maybe the BX4 and 4A, but that's not as important as like the 31, the 8 and 31, because that's like an East Bronx route. The Q50 is in Co-op City, and it's like it'll just connect with crosstowns, but the 8 and 31 are important. So that might lead to the BX8 getting extended on the north end to Wakefield where the 39 terminates. Okay. As far as on the west side of the Bronx is concerned, as we look, okay, we're going to look here. As far as the west side of the Bronx is concerned, okay, we need the BX41 Select extended to LaGuardia Airport. I'm not in favor of that M125 bus. The BX15 should have been left alone here. But I will let the BX41 Select extend into LaGuardia Airport. So it'll be double coverage with the M60 Select bus. And I'll probably will create a new route from Queens to say that the hub. It could be around the Queens Boulevard area to the hub. This way, those who work in the South Bronx area, you don't have to ride subways into Manhattan and just for a transfer. You just have a bus take you direct. It'll be a direct transfer either in Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, Regal Park, Elmhurst, Jackson Heights, wherever. Along the Queens Boulevard line, but it's a bus route, so it has to be branded blue as a select bus, even though no matter if the subway's there or not. So we'll have a new route. There. I will propose that new route there. I'll label it Q90 or something like that. Yankee Stadium patrons that will just transfer to the BX2 at the hub, which will take them straight to Yankee Stadium. People in the Bronx, they will probably want a new SBS network. So it'll be like BX51. That'll follow the BX21 route. It'll follow the BX21 route. It's like a SBS version of that. But it will begin like say around Pelham Parkway, and then like the 31, and then follow the 21 route into the hub area, and then on its way to the RFK Bridge, it'll have to terminate at Jackson Heights, because there's no point, because you got the N&W train in a storage to take you to Long Island City, so we'll have to terminate around Jackson Heights. Jackson Heights and Woodside. That'll be a 51, and then maybe like a BX 54. No, I won't. No, that won't work. That's 51. BX 55 is like it'll be a restored route number, but it's like it'll go 3rd Avenue. It'll travel up 3rd Avenue. It'll probably begin in Williamsbridge. Travel up 3rd Avenue is like competing with the 41 Select, but it's like up 3rd Avenue. And then it'll terminate in Jackson Heights as well. So those are the two. It's like the 51 and 55 that I will create, but it's like they'll terminate in Jackson Heights. But travel across the RFK Bridge. If you go on the Queens Plaza, you would just transfer at Astoria Boulevard to the N&W trains or bus service. And so, and then of course the BX6 Select is gonna eventually come to place very soon up to this point. So with the Queens redesign, I'll probably start a new Q42 bus, which will terminate around here to connect with the BX6 Select. It'll follow the BX5 route, but then make stop here, and then follow the 50 route through California, and then the 44 route into Jamaica. So it'll be a third route, so you can connect with the BX6 Select, which will take you over towards Yankee Stadium from the Eastern Queens and Jamaica area. So that's how important the Queens redesign is with the Bronx. So we have to almost redesign the Bronx network to accommodate Queens. Also, because the 44 is going to Fordham Plaza, I will say the BX30 should be extended to West Farm Square to connect with the Q44 Select. This way is more coverage and everything. Now here's where the problem comes. When it comes to the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens redesigns. It's the Manhattan bus. Because all three boroughs actually impact the Manhattan bus service. And the M100 bus has been cut back in favor of a new 125, which I'm not in favor of it. So when the Manhattan bus redesign comes to play, there's a Bronx segment which probably should have new Bronx routes as well, which also will help contribute to further redesigning the Bronx network. I'll probably have maybe the M15 Select extended to the Bronx because of the new 2nd Avenue subway going to terminate over here, and probably go across 125th Street if they want it proposed. So I will have the M15 Select extended to maybe the hub. I will have maybe like the M7 bus extended to the hub as well. But transform that to maybe like have a new breakdown. If they have like local limited, a red limited, purple, it won't be a purple rush to the subway because you have subways there. So it probably rush to the CBD, a purple rush to the CBD route, Central Business District route, and then an SBS route, and then like a maybe like a super express route. Pink route or something like that. So it'll be a new breakdown for Manhattan. You have to do a different breakdown for Manhattan. It can't be like the Bronx, which like just because Bronx have to be redesigned, but it has to be a different breakdown. Like say the M7 will have to become like maybe a purplish like route, which is rush to the CBD. It's gonna terminate in like the Chelsea area. It'll terminate in the Chelsea area. But it's like the old M7 Unlimited. It's like it'll have to be like a purple rush type route. Things like that. The M10 is going to have to probably going to be re-extended, but it's like probably like a purplish rush route. Because I'll probably bring the M20 as a local up to, let's say, 125th Street. But the M10 is be like a purplish rush route. Or like a reddish limited route. The 5th and Madison Avenue, 5th and Madison Avenue will probably be getting SBS like the 15. So like the M1 might be like but it's be like a red, green, and blue. It's like the M1 will be a red route extended to the Bronx. The 2 becomes like another red route. The 3 will probably be the only green route, but it's like it's probably gonna get split at some point. While the M4 is gonna get, the M4 is gonna probably become like the SBS version, because it's the longest. It's the longest of the 4. But I would make the 4 go with the 1, 2, and 3. But the 4 will terminate like at East Village here, M4. The one will be a red route. It's going to extend. It's going to extend south to say like this area, maybe like South Ferry, further south. I would like the 3 will probably be split. It'll probably be a new. Like, I might have the M5 take over going for the M3 stuff. So 3 will probably be split here, like ending like 57th Street, and the M5 will take over as the local. Like the M1, since it's red, will be taking, and the M5 will take it over as a local over here. M5 and M6, like it's gonna be relabeled. Like M6 gonna be taking over probably 5th and Madison for the southern part of the M3. Okay, but but other than that, how Manhattan, as far as Brooklyn's concerned, we need to bring back like a route. Maybe I was suggesting extending the B61 to City Hall, which will replace the old B51. Probably have a new B51 SBS to City Hall, but that will go to Flatbush Junction with the 41. That is distinguished. The 41 would be the Rockaway line. The 51 would be the Manhattan line. The 51 goes to Flatbush Junction to City Hall as an SBS. You know, give people a new alternative. And of course, I want to increase service to the B39 going across the bridge. The Queens service is probably stay the same, like the Q60, the third. I'll bring back the 101. It'll follow this proposed 68 route, but it terminate over by the west entrance of LaGuardia Airport. 32 will probably have a slight change in Queens. It's going to extend to say 108th Street in Roosevelt as a local. But that's, you know, and then much of the crosstown routes will be SBS. You know, will be SBS routes consistently. You know, but Manhattan is very delicate because of what's going on with the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens redesigns. Plus, we're gonna have to establish a new frequency guideline for the bus net, for the local and express routes. Okay, just like how the subways have a frequency guideline, generally it's like they say in general the trains are about every 2 to 5 minutes peak hour, 5 to maybe 12 minutes middays and weekends, and say 20 minutes during late nights. I would say tweak it a bit, because subway, I mean, you don't need subways like every 2 minutes. You know that's like maybe a safety issue even with CBTC. So I would say maybe a subway train, well, with the exception maybe they told about the 7 line. I'll say subway trains somewhere around 2 to maybe say every 8 minutes during peak hour. You know, depending on the route, the line. We're talking about exclusives. And then middays, okay. Midday hours, okay, they saying they probably join subway lines together to make it look like it's every 5 minutes, but it's more like, say, okay, it'll start at 6. It'll start around every 6 minutes. The highest frequency, say at midday, is like 15 minutes. You know, depends on where you are on the subway line. 15-minute headway. And then, of course, like every 20 minutes, but then during late nights. But, you know, bus routes should be like every 20 to 30 minutes during late nights as well, just as to meet the arrival and departure of subway trains. You know, as far as bus routes are concerned, bus routes, you know, say they run 40-foot or ticks, or maybe run shorter buses, depending on agency. But bus routes, you know, it should be varied between higher frequency than the subway to, you know, it should be like on the two extremes. Because you need more buses to accommodate the ridership with subways, the bus should be, I mean, the highest frequency for a bus route should be maybe like 100 buses an hour. You know, like 60 seconds in a minute, or 60 minutes in an hour. 100 buses an hour, that's better, you know, that's better than every third. That's like close to maybe every 30, so like 120 buses buses an hour. It's like probably a bus every 30 seconds, but 100 buses an hour. You know, because there should be a guideline to put in articulated buses and everything. So maybe like say around less than every minute. That shall be a buck during peak hour. Off peak, okay, when you have to put buses in depots and everything, you know, to refuel and fix and clean up and all that. Off peak hours, I will start the frequency to say around 3 minutes on the busiest route, maybe like 3 to 4 minutes midday. During midday, that's the start. The hot, you know, while it varies, it'll start at like 3 to 4 minute plateau, and then late nights I will start the bus maybe at a 15-minute plateau, depending on the necessity of it, because you're gonna need more buses than you would need subway trains. The worst I will have the subway, because like the MTA policy is 30 minutes to operate during daytimes and hourly during late nights. Okay, depending on the type of route it is. If it's like a green local route, like in say in the borough, like Queens and Brooklyn, things like that, yes, you can probably get away with a 30-minute highway if it's not along a established SBS route or limited route, or even a purple rush route. You know, if it's not established, like otherwise you're gonna need it like at least every 10 minutes. So you're gonna need that local every 10 minutes. So if it's standalone and it's like, you know, it doesn't generate, but it's like you need it, I would say 30 minutes would probably be sufficient. But peak hour, you might want to start put like at least have a bus every 15 minutes. Okay, for you know the worst frequency for say a blue SBS route or a purple rush route will be say at worst. Okay, peak hours will be every 10 minutes. Off peak hours every 12 minutes midday, and late nights say every 35 40 minutes. You know, if you're gonna run that type of service. Otherwise you're gonna have to like once it goes like 30 minutes, like late night, once you're at that plateau, you have to turn it into a green route. So those lines you need, okay, as far as to run those, like the purple, the red, and the blue routes, they should be at a higher frequency than the green routes. Green routes, you can have the flexibility. You could start at like 2 to 5 minutes, you know, which probably encourage you to put in the red or the blue, things like that, to improve and speed up the service, you know, make the service more attractive. But you know, you can start it at that frequency, but the worst is like 30 minutes at policy. So that's how you could go with green routes. You know. Yes, this is my feedback in regards to the Queens bus redesign and everything, and the Brooklyn bus redesign. I'll see you at the meetings with the current Brooklyn bus redesign.